we finally know more about Moon Knight. First and foremost, let's quickly just talk about the director. They got a director who was born in Egypt. He lives in Cairo, and all of his stuff he's done, like currently, is focusing on the social aspects of Egypt and all the political stuff there. So, perfect. Literally perfect. Like,
and say, well done, you nailed the director. Casting? We'll talk about that.
Yeah, so let's start off with the whole director. Like, it came out just a couple days after, like, we got the, actor who we'll talk about in a little bit. And it's one of those things where I always say it, if it's somebody I've never heard of, I'm more inclined to be more excited, and that's exactly how I feel. Like, it's
because you don't have any preconceived notions of who they are and what they've done before. It's just like, oh, cool, fresh new take that I have no idea. He's clearly got a catalog out there you can go back and watch and get an idea.
It's like,
I suggest everyone do, because that's what I'm going to do at some point. But
same. It's like when they announced John Watts for Spider-Man.
Yeah,
he had like one indie film, and it's like, oh, okay, cool. And Marvel seems to be doing now, like they hired that Puerto Rican director Alejandra for something, and she's only had like 2 projects. So
yeah, I don't know what I wanted to have that as a topic last week, and I was like, I don't know. What can you talk about? It's just
exactly
like 10 minutes of pure speculation. It's like, I have no idea who she is. I've seen nothing she's done. I don't know what she could be doing.
I don't know any like characters unless it's like America Chavez or Alejandra Blaze Ghost Rider.
I assume the safe bet for her would be Chavez, but that's purely going off the fact that she's Puerto Rican.
Yeah, and that's the type of thing with these types of directors, like they found for Moon Knight. I'm like, it makes sense. I like that it's somebody who's gonna sit there and be like, this doesn't look like a part of Cairo on this set. Fix it. And they're gonna be like, oh, okay, because like and I don't mean this as disrespectful to directors, so don't take it that way. If you're an American director and they tell you, okay, Mexico, all you do is shoot in Vancouver and put an orange filter over it, and we can tell that that's what it is. If you have a director from the area, it looks authentic. This is why when Guillermo del Toro does something that's set in Mexico or Eastern Europe, it looks authentic because he's lived and studied those places to nauseam. So, I'm glad that they're going to be able to get a director like that. That's like, this is what it needs to look like. Get it to look like this. So, it's not the problem. Now, let's talk about...
You're also going to get the whole culture right as well.
Exactly. The cultural aspect, which brings me to our actor, Mitch. How do you feel about it? Because Oscar Isaac.
Well, I mean,
after he said, I'm never effing working with Disney again.
I mean, that part is just like, whatever, right, Oscar? Like, they'll dump money on you and that'll be it. Even Boyega's walking it back. He's like, I mean, I'd work again if it was Trevor Rhodes' script. It's like, of course you would, because you want the money.
Yeah,
you're an actor. You're not just gonna throw away a job like a pillar.
And it's like, what I said is I wouldn't do a Star Wars movie. I never said anything about Marvel.
That was taken out of context. I'm sorry. Oscar Isaac 2020. I mean, he's a fantastic actor. I would have pegged him for the role anyway, to be honest. But it's just it's slightly disappointing. It's a bit of a whiplash thing. It's like, oh, great actor. Oh, he's not really what you should have gone for. Like, it's a bit of a... Like, I know people are going to be like, well, he's Jewish. It's like, he's an eighth, It's like being like, oh, well, I'm 1/8 African. I can play Blade or Black Panther. Like, no. It's kind of crumbs, bare bones.
Like, here's my thing.
It's unfortunate. It's very unfortunate. And it's like, at the same time, like, he has that heritage there, but he said a few times, it's a lot of conflicting stuff actually with his heritage and parents. Like, some places say, like, his dad was Jewish, but then it's like, oh, both my parents were evangelical Christians. It's like, he doesn't seem to have had that upbringing and everything for that culture and those people and that religion and everything. So what exactly is he bringing to the role for the character? Like, not a lot. It's just it's unfortunate, especially when So speaking of unfortunate, it came out like Daveed Diggs, the guy from Snowpiercer and Hamilton, was apparently up for it.
Oh,
and it's just like, that would have been fantastic.
I mean, I get why Oscar Isaac would be the obvious choice if he really wants it. You look at him, tremendous actor. He's got name value, and Disney's worked with him before, and Kevin Feige has more than likely had his eye on him for a while. So it's like, it makes sense of why they're going for it. Again, like, I'm kind of there with you. Like, he's good, and I'm glad, but also there's some things there. It's like, because you think, they kind of moved maybe in that direction a little bit more, but then who knows? Like, it's an interesting one, right? Like, it's a subject that's like, I don't know how this could go.
It's a very, very touchy subject because Marvel and their Jewish characters and the side, they're very much kind of pushing that away right now. Like, if you look at the comics, Kitty Pryde's got knuckle tattoos. Big no-no. Big no-no. We don't put tattoos on, like, arms for Jewish people at all. No, big no-no. The Wiccan and Speed, they're kind, they put, like, made like Wiccan like an antichrist sort of thing. Big no. The only one they're kind of still around with is Magneto. Even actually, no, take it back completely. He's off the rails with that. So
yeah,
and yes, Elizabeth Olsen's not Jewish. Do I like her in the role? Yeah, of course I like her in the role. Would it be better if it was someone else? Absolutely. But she's here. It's what we got. Fair enough. Oscar Isaac's here. It's what we got. Fair enough. I'm more disappointed for the Jewish people I know who were excited for this casting, and now they're like, we've gotten this. Like, like all hopes and dreams now are pinned on the twins for WandaVision, and I after this, I don't see it being any better.
And that's kind of a thing. Like, I know some people are like, and we're gonna get in on this. People are gonna be like, it's not an issue. I'm like, it is an issue, though.
Yeah, 100% is an issue. Yeah.
Here's the kind of the way I'll frame it to you. Imagine in the next 20 years, you become this famous person. And 20 years after that, they're like, you know what? We're going to make a biopic based on this character. And let's say you're from somewhere in Europe, or maybe you're in America, right? Or whatever. And they're like, well, where was he from? Like, he was from New York. Okay. We're going to cast an Australian, and you were Christian. They're like, we're going to cast a Muslim to play him. And it's like, it just doesn't work. Like, you want to represent, and you want somebody that's done that. Like, remember when Andrew Garfield came out and it was like, oh yeah, I'm playing like a trans character or gay character, and I've studied it for about 2 weeks. I feel like I'm pretty confident doing it. It was like, Andrew, that's probably not a good thing to say. Like, he got a lot of backlash for that. Like, it was naive of him to say that. Like, so that's the type of scenario they're in. And just like, it's unfortunate that is kind of what's happening with the likes of Moon Knight. But again, Oscar Isaac is great, so I have no doubt he's going to deliver on this. But I was hoping that some people, like, I knew that were excited about it, they could have cast an actual Jewish person to do it, Like,
yeah. And it's like, people are going to be like, oh, what does the religion matter? It's like, it's more than a religion. Quite frankly, the entire country, over my side of the pond are Jewish. So, maybe don't tell them that they're not what they are. Because if that's the case, then I'm just going to say that you're not white. You're everything but. You ain't going to feel great about that.
Right. I mean, I'm assuming at some point Marvel Studios will be asked about this and they'll talk about it, and then we'll get more, because
I can imagine they're gonna do something, because it's very odd that they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna do all this stuff, like here's Black Panther, here's Captain Marvel, here's America Chavez, here's literally everyone else on this planet, because we're pushing the rep forward. We have a blind superhero over here. We have a trans one over here, and it's like, Jewish one.
So
it feels weird. It's off. I'm still excited. I'm gonna watch this show. I'm still excited for it. I think he's gonna absolutely nail the hell out of it. It's just a little bit. Could have brought something there, and could have been something for some people. And then again, maybe you can't please everyone, but not everyone's going to be mad about it. There's probably some Jewish people out there that aren't mad about it. And if you're not,
Right.
fantastic, great for you. I'm just going off of the ones that I know that aren't happy.
And it's also like the weird scenario where, again, you bring up, it's like, oh, they not casting really a Jewish actor, but they cast a Muslim Miss Marvel, right? Like,
yeah.
So again, I know, it's a weird one. When it gets brought up, we'll talk about it because I'm assuming it's gonna hit the internet at some point because it's gonna be asked and they'll have to talk about it, and we'll see what they say. Until then, though, get excited for Moon Knight, and we'll see what happens.
So just remember that taking a bottle of water out of a lake is not the same thing as taking a bottle of water out of a puddle.
Oh, sure, there we go. Yeah.